What we have here is a giant worksheet that's composed of a bunch of little mini, worksheets in there. If you look at it, we've got, 2010, 2011, and so forth. What's interesting about this is that there's no way that you'd be able to fit that onto one sheet of paper. So we're definitely stuck or forced to having to look at multiple pages in here. We have a few little problems though when we look at that. First of all, how do we make it so how do we make sure that the page breaks are right at, let's say, between I and J? So if we wanted to kind of make this into one page, this into another page, and so forth, we're not going to be lucky enough just by saying, okay, just do a file print and hope for the best. That's not going to work. We have other situations too, is that once we figure that we're going to be printing each of these on its own page, you have to look at the fact that in column A we have our row headings, right, for at least for 2010 and for 2014 here, but we don't have that over here. So if we were printing out, let's say, this on one particular page, we're missing these guys over here. So when you see that on a page, you're not going to know what the rows mean. And then the other thing to look at here is if you thought that, okay, I'll put this on a page, this on its own page, and so forth, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to have at the top of page 1, 2010, and on the bottom 2014. If anything, we'd want to have this as the physical page 1, right? And then on page 2 would be this, and page 3 would be that. So in that case, not only do we have to have page breaks here, but also page breaks underneath here so that each of these is on its own page. All right, so we got a lot of work here to work on. So let's just get started and let's look at, first of all, getting this made into separate pages. So all these little chunks here, their own pages. How do we do that? Best way to start is to go to View and then go to your page break preview. And when you do that, you'll end up seeing the page breaks come in. You can actually see the page breaks. So I need to get this page here expand a little bit because I need that to go out and end there, right? So that would be page 1, page 2. We can kind of look across here, make sure everything fits. And it looks like it does, all right? It looks like the page breaks are okay there. The other thing though is that we need to put a page break horizontally so we can make this a page and this into a page, right? So to do that, what we do is we figure, okay, we need to put a page break starting at row 17. So if we just point to the number 17, do a right click on it, you'll see a choice in there called Insert Page Break. You do that, you click away from it, you can see where we got that. If you were off a little bit, let's say it was end up being down there, you can actually just kind of point right here and just drag it back up, and that would fix it. Now, as I was saying earlier, as far as these row headings right here, these are great for page 1 and page 2, right? But for pages 3 and 4, we don't have that, and for the rest we don't have them either. So that's going to be a little messy there. And then the other problem is what we see on row 2 here is not on these, all right? In other words, if I were looking at this right here, this page printed out, it's going to be where, great, I got numbers and everything, but I have no idea what the columns are, I have no idea what the rows are, all right? So what we need to do is make sure, okay, I guess make sure that row 2 is printed on all pages and column A is printed on all pages. How about that? How are we going to do that one, right? So here's what we do. We go into the page layout tab. We have something here called print titles, all right? And we're going to click on the print titles. That brings us to the sheet tab of our page setup. In the print area, that's one thing, but right below that you'll see rows to repeat at top and columns to repeat on the left side. Well, the columns that we want to be repeating on the left side of every page are going to be basically column A, all right? Now, the way we do this is normally you can just click here and then click anywhere on column A and it'll be fine. But what happens is because we've got this merged, it wants to expand out. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of backspace that out, and we're just going to type in A:A, and that just means I want column A to be repeated on all pages. And then for the other one, for the rows to be repeated at the top, we definitely want this row to be repeated on those pages that don't have it, right? So in this case, we're going to type in 2:2. Okay? And then we can go ahead and hit OK. All right, so far so good. Another thing you're going to notice that when this thing goes to print, this is going to go on page 1 here. Okay, that'll be on the physical page 1. This will be on physical page 2, 2014. I think I'd rather it go this way, where this is page 1 as usual, but then this would be page 2 because that's the next year. That just makes sense, right? So how do we do that? Well, again, you can just, while we're here, we can just click on the print titles. They'll take us right into the page setup area. And we can go to the sheet tab, which we're already at. And for the page order, instead of it doing page 1, page 2, going down like it is here, we're going to tell it to go over like that, see? Hit OK, and now there's page 2, page 3, and so forth, right? That's pretty good. I think we've got it all now. So once we've done all that, then we can go back and click on the file, click on the print, and see what we have here. So there's going to be page 1, all right? And I'll go down below here. There's page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6. And the only problem we have with this is, if you notice now, the labels are above that because technically it gets put on top, all right? So if we go back in there, you're going to notice what I'm talking about. So what's happening is on these pages here, it's actually putting this label on top of that, right? So it might be worth your while, okay, to maybe go in to row 2 here, like select row 2, right-click it, hit copy, go here to row 18, okay, right-click it, and then we'll go ahead and, actually what we'll do here is we'll hit insert copied cells here, right? And that'll kind of push that down, and that kind of fixes it. So now we can go back to page layout, go back to our print titles, and we don't have to worry about repeating the rows because they're okay. We're going to have the rows on each one of these, see? So we just have to worry about that one. So we go ahead and hit OK on that, and that works out good. So I'm kind of showing you a little troubleshooting action there, right? So now when we go back and do a file print, there's going to be your page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and now page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8. Perfect. Now, you can go a step further with this and say, I'd like to get this all to go landscape, right? So what we can actually do, we can either do it from here, or we can get out of here and go to the page layout here, right? And then go to where it says orientation and say we want this to go landscape. Now we do that, that's what happens. Now what's happened here is that because we've got more width and all that, the natural page breaks kind of change there. So what we need to do in here is check and make sure that this is okay. But over here it kind of shifted over, so we need to kind of pull this back to here, right? And then we'll check the rest of them over here, and over here we have to do the same thing as well, see? Well, that's what's great about this page break preview here. Makes it very easy to make those fixes. So now we do that. And the other thing I'm going to do too, I'm going to go back into the, I can just hit this button right here, and that'll take us into page setup as well, all right? What I can do as well is tell it that I want the margins, or not margin, I want that particular section of the worksheet to fit between the left and right, so centered on the page horizontally, right? And if you want to as well, put your grid lines in there like we were doing on the last examples. Hit OK, all right? And now if we go back into File, we go back to Print, there it goes, perfect. And if you feel that you'd like it to be a little bit wider, then we can go to Page Setup from here, change this, maybe make this about, let's make it about 100, see what happens. Hit OK, and there we go. Nope, that was too much. So we'll go back in there again, bring that maybe down to 95. Hit OK. Now that's perfect. So there's page 3, page 4, page 5, and so forth. So they're all just right in there. So that worked out pretty well. So that's pretty good. Now the other thing, I've got another example here. I'm going to go in the second tab here. This is a pretty big worksheet here. It goes quite a ways over and doesn't go too far going down, but at least going across, it's pretty wide there. Now, if I go ahead and if I were just to print this out, just do a file print, all right, I'm going to get this. This is a mess. It's basically giving me 1 page wide by 7 pages going down. So the second page is actually the end to the right there, up at the top of the worksheet. So that doesn't look too good. So at minimum, probably the easiest way to fix this would be to say, well, let's go ahead and we'll make this, we'll maybe flip it. Well, actually, yeah, we'll flip it and make it landscape. We'll do that first. All right. That still isn't going to cut it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the scaling, and we're going to tell it to fit it 1 page wide this time, only 1 page wide. So basically it's going to fit all the columns, but not the rows. So it's going to force the width to come in to fit the wideness of the page there, but at the same time, so it does that. Oh, I didn't do it on 1 page. Well, I guess we could do it like that too, but that still doesn't look very good. All right, that's quite a mess there. So maybe in this case, what we can do is we'll get out of here. We'll go and change our view. So we'll go back into the View tab here. We're going to change our view to that page break preview again. See right there. And maybe think about cutting this in half somewhere. Okay. So let's just say that we want to put a page break. We'll start out where at Missy here, right? So I'll point right on the column letter. I'll do a right click on it, and I'll tell it to insert a page break, and I'll put one, where to go? Let me try it again here. Go on Missy here. So insert that. Oh, I'm going to hit undo. All right, I'm going to go here. I'll put the page break here. So I'll do a right click, insert page break. There it goes. And well, I still don't want that. Let me hit undo here again. So I'm going to go to right on there, right click it there, insert the page break. What's happening is that I had set the page to print, you know, the whole thing to fit on 1 page, and that's preventing me from being able to get a page break going down like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my page layout, go back to my dialog box. I'll just click on it here, and I'm just going to, right now it's set for 1 page wide by whatever tall. What I want to do here instead is go back to the adjust and bring this back to 100%, all right, hit OK, and then I'll see my page breaks in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this page break down and just get rid of it. We're going to take this page break, merge it with this one here, take this page break, merge it with that one there, and then we can actually just drag this to whatever we want it to be. So if I look at this and I say, well, let's get rid of this page break there, and now we've got basically 2 pages there, and probably we could probably move this one over maybe a notch. That looks like about even. Yeah, maybe one more here. We'll do that. Now if we take a look at this, We'll go back to File. We'll go to Print. There's page 1, and then there would be page 2. And if you wanted to maybe have the labels that you see here over on this page as well, then what we'd have to do is what? Well, we would go back. We go back to here. We go back to our page layout, print titles, and up here where it says rows to repeat on the left, we want that to be column A. So we'll just say A:A, right? Hit OK, all right? Now when we go to do a file print, there'll be page 1, right? And there's our page 2. Perfect. The problem with this is there's just it's very wide, and it's like, well, what do? You know, you don't have many choices here, but this is probably the best way to look at it. If anything, you might even go further and say, I want to divide it into 4 parts, you know, 4 pages across. And if that were the case, it's very easy to fix. All you'd have to do is go back into back to our view here, and we can say, well, we want to put a page break maybe about here. So I'd right-click that, insert page break. So there goes one there. Maybe go about right here, right-click it, insert the page break, and that goes in. See? And again, you can play around with this a little bit. Maybe pull that one over one, but whatever it takes to make it, you know, relatively even. And now when you go back into File, we go back to Print. Then it looks like this. And now with that, we can say, well, let's make it bigger, right? So we go back into Page Setup. Make this maybe about 75%. That looks good. And you could go even further. We could go couple more notches there, maybe 90. Okay, that looks good. So there's page 1, page 2, page 3. Oh, it did go over a little bit. So maybe we'll bring it back down to 85. How about that? There it goes. Page 1, da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. So what do we have here? We'll go back and see what we've got. Okay, that's what happened. So we need to go ahead and make this one, just pull that over, merge that. It looks all right there. Now we'll go back into File, go back to Print. There we go. So there's page 1, there's page 2, page 3, page 4. And the way it's laid out as well, we're getting the first section there, which is page 1, and then right next to it would be page 2, page 3, page 4. So we got the print order right as well. All right, so hopefully that helps you with what we're doing here, but appreciate you watching the video. Take care.